There is a kind of pain that lingers, not in your body, but in your heart. It hides in silence, lives inside memories, and sometimes shows up with the face of someone you once trusted. You may have said to yourself, "They hurt me. They betrayed me. They made me suffer." But what if that story is incomplete? More than 2,500 years ago, the Buddha shared a truth that still feels revolutionary today, a truth that challenges everything we think we know about pain. He said, "No one can make you suffer unless you allow them." This is not a feel-good quote or a spiritual cliché. It is a mirror that reflects the real source of our suffering, not in what others do, but in how we hold on to it. Before we go deeper into this powerful wisdom from the Buddha, if you believe the world needs more peace, healing, and emotional strength, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may need it today. Your support helps bring these teachings to more hearts that are searching for meaning and freedom. Now, take a deep breath. Let your mind be still. Let your heart be open, because what you're about to discover may change the way you understand suffering. And more importantly, it may show you how to finally let it go. Let's begin. They said something cruel, and it pierced you like a knife, not because of their words, but because you held them in your heart. You trusted them, you believed in them, and so their actions became more than actions. They became wounds. But the Buddha, in his quiet wisdom, did not tell us to fight back. He did not tell us to defend ourselves, to explain, to blame. He simply said, "No one can make you suffer unless you allow them." At first that may feel unfair, as if your pain is your fault. But this is not about blame. It is about power. It is about choice. The Buddha saw suffering not as something inflicted, but as something we continue to carry, long after the moment has passed, like gripping a burning coal, hoping it will hurt someone else. But all it does is burn your own hand. This is not a teaching to shame you. This is an invitation to awaken. What others do is their karma. How you respond is yours. You see, suffering is not in the words they said. It is in the meaning you gave to those words. Suffering is not in the betrayal. It is in the story you told yourself afterward. That you are unworthy, that you are broken, that you are not enough. But none of that is true. And deep down, something in you knows it. Pause for a moment. Think of the last time someone hurt you. What remained in your heart? The pain of the event, or the pain of how tightly you held on to it? The Buddha did not teach detachment to make us cold. He taught it to make us free, to see things clearly, to see people as they are, to stop giving our inner peace away like loose change, tossed into the hands of those who don't even know they're holding it. Freedom begins when you realize you don't have to invite every insult into your mind. You don't have to build a home for every disappointment. You don't have to suffer just because pain knocked on the door. This teaching is not easy, but it is powerful because it returns your peace, your control, your dignity back to you. And once you see this, truly see it, no one can ever take it away again. Suffering is not a mystery. It has a cause. And the Buddha, in his timeless clarity, pointed it out without hesitation. We suffer because we cling. We crave. We resist what is. It is not the loss itself that breaks us, but our refusal to let go. Not the betrayal, but our attachment to the idea that others should always be loyal. Not the silence, but our expectation that people should always understand us without needing to be asked. This is where it begins, in the quiet, unconscious grip of the mind, trying to bend reality to fit our desires. Imagine this. You send someone a message. They don't reply. Immediately, the mind begins. Did I say something wrong? Are they ignoring me? Maybe they don't care about me anymore. What actually happened? A message was left unread. That's all. But we suffer, not because of the event, but because of the story the mind builds around it. This is the nature of tanha, the craving the Buddha spoke of, the endless thirst for things to go our way, the craving for attention, for recognition, for security, for certainty. And when those cravings are not met, suffering rises, like waves in a stormy sea, one after another, endlessly crashing. This is the first and second of the Four Noble Truths. There is suffering, and there is a cause. It is not punishment. It is not karma from a past life. It is simply how the mind reacts to what it cannot control. We want people to love us a certain way. We want life to follow the script we've written in our heads. We want permanence in a world that is always changing. And so we suffer, not because the world is cruel, but because we insist that it must be something it is not. The root of suffering is the mind's resistance to what is, and the moment we stop resisting, the moment we stop demanding that the present moment be different, a subtle peace begins to emerge. It does not come from fixing the world. It comes from understanding the world, from softening our grip, from seeing reality clearly, without the filter of expectation. This is where the path begins, not in changing others, but in changing the way we relate to what is. When we understand the true cause of suffering, we stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What am I holding on to that causes this pain?" In that shift, healing begins. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine holding a clear glass of water. You drop just one tiny drop of blue ink into it, and suddenly the entire glass turns cloudy, not because the water was bad, but because something entered it and was allowed to spread. This is your mind, clear by nature, peaceful by its original state, but easily colored by thoughts, memories, judgments, old pain. When someone says something cruel, when life takes a sharp turn, it's like a drop of ink entering your mind. But whether it stays, whether it stains everything, that is not decided by the world. It's decided by you. The Buddha taught, "With our thoughts we make the world," and that is not a metaphor. It is a law of experience. Your mind is the lens through which you see everything. If that lens is clouded with anger, the world looks hostile. If it is stained with grief, everything feels empty. But if the lens is calm, balanced, awake, even difficulty becomes a teacher. Even loss becomes sacred. Even pain becomes the beginning of wisdom. Think about this. Two people experience the same event. One falls apart. The other finds strength. What made the difference? Not the event, but the mind interpreting it. That is the true power of awareness. It does not stop bad things from happening, but it transforms how we meet them. And that changes everything. If your mind is full of noise, you cannot hear the quiet wisdom inside you. If your mind is full of resistance, you cannot feel the peace that is already here. You don't have to fix the world. You don't have to silence every critic. You don't have to make people understand you. You only have to return to the clarity of your own mind. That is the birthplace of freedom, not in controlling life, but in mastering how you respond to it. When you truly see that your suffering is not in what happened, but in the meaning your mind gave to it, you begin to reclaim your peace. One thought at a time, one breath at a time. The storm outside may still rage, but the sky inside you can be clear, because the mind is not what happens to you. The mind is how you choose to see it. Understanding suffering is one thing, but transformation begins when we practice, when we stop asking, "Why am I suffering?" and begin asking, "What can I do with this pain?" This is the path the Buddha offered, not a religion, not a doctrine, but a way of being, a way of seeing. Let's begin where everything begins, the breath. Right now, take a slow, conscious breath in, and as you breathe out, imagine letting go of something heavy. You don't need to name it. Just release the tension in your chest. Let your shoulders drop. Let the weight fall away. In Buddhist practice, this is called mindfulness, noticing the present moment without judgment, becoming the observer rather than the reactor. When someone offends you, pause. Instead of reacting, observe the reaction rising in you. Watch it, like a cloud passing through the sky. It is not you, it is just weather. You don't have to respond from pain. You can respond from presence. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean you approve of what happened. It means you are ready to stop drinking the poison over and over again. Forgiveness is not a favor to the other. It is a freedom for yourself. And sometimes, forgiveness is just a quiet whisper. I choose peace instead of this. Try this simple practice today. When a painful memory surfaces, don't push it away. Breathe in and say, "I see you." Breathe out and say, "I let you go." Feel the difference. Not immediately, But slowly, day by day, moment by moment, pain loses its sharpness when it is met with wisdom, when it is held in kindness, when it is no longer resisted. You are not your anger. You are not your past. You are the space in which these things rise and fall. The Buddha didn't teach escape. He taught liberation. Liberation through seeing. Liberation through letting go. Liberation through returning again and again to the stillness that never leaves you, even when everything else does. This is the journey, not to fix your life, but to free your heart. She was 48 when her husband left. No warning, no explanation. Just a note on the kitchen counter and an empty closet. They had been married for 22 years, raised 2 children, built a life that, from the outside, looked whole. But in one moment, it shattered. For months, she couldn't sleep. She would stare at the ceiling in the dark, trying to understand how someone could walk away. So easily, so coldly. She told herself stories, over and over again. Was it her fault? Was she not enough? What did she do wrong? Pain became her daily companion. It followed her into grocery stores, into work meetings, into silent car rides. And no matter where she went, it whispered, "You are broken." Until one day, she walked into a small community center, looking for a support group. Instead, she found a flyer taped to the wall. Mindfulness meditation. Learn to let go. Something about those words stayed with her. Let go. It sounded impossible, but also like exactly what she needed. She sat in the back of the room that first day, eyes closed, hands trembling. The teacher's voice was calm. "You don't need to fix anything," he said. "You only need to be here and breathe." At first it felt ridiculous. Breathing, what does that solve? But she kept going, week after week, not because the pain was gone, but because something inside her began to shift. She stopped blaming, stopped replaying, stopped asking the question that had haunted her. Why did he do this to me? And started asking a new one. How can I stop suffering? The more she sat, the more she observed her mind, the stories, the anger, the heartbreak, all rising and falling like waves. And slowly, the waves became quieter. She wrote in her journal one night, "I still miss him, but I no longer need him to come back to feel whole." That was the turning point. She wasn't healed in a single moment, but she was no longer trapped. She had reclaimed her power, not by changing what happened, but by changing how she related to it. This is what the Buddha meant when he said, "No one can make you suffer unless you allow them," because pain may be inevitable, but suffering is where we meet ourselves and choose what to carry forward. Her story is not just hers. It belongs to all of us, to everyone who has ever been hurt and thought the pain would last forever. But healing is possible, not because time erases wounds, but because wisdom transforms them. What the Buddha taught was never meant to stay in temples. It was meant for hearts, for lives, for moments like yours, moments when pain seems louder than peace, when betrayal feels like a storm that will never pass, when you forget who you were before the world hurt you. But here's the truth. You are not your suffering. You are not what they did. You are not the story your pain keeps telling. You are the awareness behind it, the stillness beneath it, the strength that has been quietly waiting to rise again. Remember this, pain knocks, but you choose whether to open the door. You choose how long it stays. You choose how much power it holds. And that is freedom. If this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of your own inner strength, or gave you a little more peace than you had before, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you care about. Maybe they're hurting. Maybe they're ready to hear that their suffering is not permanent, that their healing is possible. Every time you support this content, you help bring these timeless teachings to more souls searching for light. And remember, the next time someone hurts you or life lets you down, you can pause, breathe, and ask yourself, do I want to carry this pain or let it go? The Buddha showed the way, but the steps are always yours to take. Thank you for watching. May you be well. May you be free. May you come home to peace.